In this example of a 58 employee South Georgia distribution company, the employee-only enrollment was solid, but family enrollment was only 12%. That's low, very low. But $680 a month for family participation on a $38,000 salary will do that. But what does that number mean on a deeper level? It means spouses are going uninsured, kids are going on peach care, and the owner of this business has no idea because A, no one told him, and B, he never asked. Let's take a real person example. Let's say you got a person named Rosa, right? She's a shipping supervisor. She's been there 3 years with the company. So she's married, maybe 2 kids, makes about $36,000 a year. Family coverage for her costs $680 out of her paycheck. Now she has looked at that number every open enrollment for years. And every year she closes the brochure and doesn't enroll. Not because she doesn't want to cover her family, because $680 a month is more than her rent. Her kids are on peach care. Her husband takes his chances. And that worries her, right? She has never said a word to the owner or management, but here's what she has done. She's been watching, right? Every time a regional distribution center posts a job nearby, she's looking. She hasn't applied yet, but she's digging around to see what the benefits look like. Now this owner, he doesn't know that conversation is even happening inside his own workforce, but it is. Because here's the thing about turnover in warehouse and distribution, annual rates run above 40% for people like Rosa, right? Replacing one of them costs somewhere between half and 3/4 of their annual salary when you factor in recruiting, training, the productivity gap while that seat's empty, right? So for a 58 employee operation, even 2 or 3 exits a year that trace back to benefits is a real number. And the owner who loses Rosa won't know why. The exit interview won't say family coverage was unaffordable. It'll say better opportunity, right? He'll never connect it back to the renewal decision he made 18 months earlier. A plan your workforce can't afford to use isn't the same thing as a plan that works. And a benefits package that prices families out isn't a retention tool. It's a slow leak. So before I'd point this owner anywhere, I'd want to know 3 things. First thing I'd want to know is, what is your family enrollment rate, right? The current industry for groups is like 35%. So what's the current family rate that you've got? All right, let's take a look at that. The gap between that average of 35% and 12% is going to tell us whether there's a real retention risk, right? And we want to address that in the enrollment if we can. So second is, what is the employee's actual monthly cost for the family coverage? Not what the plan costs you, the employer, what it costs them. Those are 2 very different numbers, right? And most owners only know one of them, right? So we want to know cost to Rosa, right? That's what we want to know. And third is, how is your employer contribution structured? A flat dollar toward employee only is the most common setup. It's also the one that makes family coverage most expensive for the people who need it the most, and the easiest thing to fix without changing the plan itself. So that's the thing we'd want to know next, is the contribution. With these 3 things, we can start to game plan a little bit more about what else might be possible. So let's take a look at that. Let's say we've got that piece of information. Now what do we do with it? We got 3 paths. One is, with that information, we can look at it and say, yeah, we're just going to stay with this new option, right? We know its family enrollment stays at 12%, the retention stays a risk, but the owner is okay with that situation. B, increase the employer contribution to the family tiers, right? It makes it more stable for the workforce, but the downside is obviously it's a higher cost for the employer. But option C could be the sweet spot, which is fixing the contribution formula without necessarily increasing the spend at all. So here's what C looks like. Let's dig into C. Most plans are built with a flat employer contribution toward the employee-only coverage, and then the employee pays the difference for the family, right? But that gap is often wide, right? Like $680 wide. So restructuring to a tiered contribution approach can bring the monthly cost down for the employees without a significant increase in what the employer is spending. So here's how that can look, right? Rosa's family cost drops from $680 to $420, right? That's a $260 per month savings. So she enrolls. Our family gets covered. $260 a month is saved. She's happy. The employer reduces his risk. Could be very well the difference between staying versus watching for the next posting for Rosa. And for the employer, that's not a dramatic budget increase. That's a retention investment in a 3-year supervisor who knows the operation, trains the new people. That's not a product change. That's a contribution strategy conversation that most renewal presentations never include. And here's what I leave you with. A 12% enrollment rate shouldn't be a footnote on the spreadsheet. It's a signal that a large portion of your workforce has already decided the plan doesn't work for them. They walked away, and they're looking for a way to handle that, whether you know it or not. So the question isn't just, do you offer family coverage? The question is, can your workforce actually afford to use it? And did you look at that before you signed? The owner who catches that before the renewal has a better chance of keeping Rosa from quietly looking elsewhere. If you're heading into renewal in South Georgia or North Florida, want a set of eyes before you decide on your next renewal, message me. That's what I'm here for.